you're watching this video right now, chances are you've got water somewhere in your house that you weren't expecting, and you are faced with some decisions that you have to make in order to try to mitigate the losses and the further damages that can come from mold that starts in about 24 to 48 hours if the water's not removed. If this is something you're dealing with, stay tuned, and we're going to talk about what to do right now to help save you money, time, and make sure your problem is solved. So water losses are terrible. Number one, they cause all kinds of damage in your home, and most likely the reason you're watching this video is because you are suffering from such a loss. Now, the first things that you can do immediately is try to get as much of the contents that are being exposed to this water removed from the area. Couple things to think about first though before you do so. There are different types of water. Number one, there's category 1 water, which is water that normally is clean. It's coming from a hot water heater, a pipe, and is something that is normally potable. You can drink it, it's not contaminated. Category 2 is something that touches another substance before it actually got into your house. So groundwater might be part of that. We don't know what's in the earth, and it could be contaminated with something that could potentially be hazardous. And category 3 is something that we know is hazardous. It's either got body fluids of some sort, raw sewage, or something that could be very dangerous to you. You do not want to mess around with category 3 water. You need to let the professionals handle that so that they can maintain safety while mitigating your water problem. If it is category 1 is fresh water, you don't really have any problem with that. It came from your hot water heater or it came from a broken line. So this is something that you can start trying to mitigate right away. Again, moving your contents that are being affected by the water is the first step. Number 2 is opening windows and possibly getting a shop vac so that you can begin to draw out the excess water. One of the problems with water that gets so saturated in the carpet and in the padding is it's going to touch the sides of your walls as well. Trim boards and gypsum board, which is drywall, absorbs that moisture quite readily, and it's very, very difficult to get that out. Normally, to dry that out appropriately and stop the mold growth, we need to mitigate that water as fast as possible. Of course, you could get a dry vac and start evacuating some of that water out of there to limit the amount of damage that could be caused from this water. Or you could simply look for a credible restoration company that you trust that could do it professionally and you know that they're going to do it right. Don't mess around with water damage. You know, a lot of times we see customers that try to do it themselves and may or may not have the proper equipment for doing it. In order for it to be covered by insurance, it has to be an appropriate type of water emergency. If it's seepage, you actually have to have a different type of coverage for it to actually be groundwater or floodwater. Many times if it's sudden or accidental, it's usually covered under an insurance policy. Most credible restoration companies or mitigation companies work with insurances. And if you're in doubt, call for help. Get the professionals on it so that we can begin to mitigate the losses. The longer the water sits in your home where it's not supposed to be, the more damage you're going to incur, and that's going to mean more expense. And some of that damage and expense may actually not be covered by insurance. So if in doubt, give the professionals a call. This is something that you can do right away. I'm sorry for the loss if that indeed is what's happening right now and that's why you're watching this, but we're here to help. And even if we can't help you, we might be able to send you in the right direction and get you started to your recovery.